If you're watching this video, it is because I am actually out of town and so I cannot go live. So, what I wanted to do is record this video and talk more about the AFC South now that everything has been released. And one of the things that I find very interesting about the AFC South is obviously we know the Texans are the team to beat based on last year. And we also know that this year, the only team that has a new coach is the Titans coach. However, based on all the things that I was hearing, based off of how the interviews went, I think it's going to be an interesting division this year. I think that these teams are really going to have to battle it out and decide who the winner is. I think you would be kind of crazy to think that the Texans aren't going to be the team that pulls this out. However, this is year two. And a lot of times in year two, there's a second year slump for quarterbacks. They have a lot of people that they're depending on that didn't play for the Houston Texans last year. And so that leaves some interesting things to happen. I will also say, I think that sometimes people say that, like, when you get injured, the game slows down and you're able to see things differently. And so I'm wondering how the game slowing down is going to help Anthony Richardson this year. So part of me feels like, with the game being a little bit slower because he was able to watch last year, he was able to pick up on things and really be able to ease his way into year two. And so I'm very interested to see how he plays this year. I also think based off the draft, they did a really good job in getting him some weapons. And so I think the Colts are going to be one of those teams that might be sneaky as we head into the year and as they start playing some games. It's going to be one of those teams where you're like, how did the Colts win this many games? Where did they come from? How did we miss out on them? So that's my thoughts about the Colts. I also think Jacksonville, it's funny because I never know where to put Jacksonville. Last year, they were the reason the Steelers made the playoffs, and they often do things that help the Steelers in a weird way. So I don't know. Jacksonville is weird, so I don't want to state claim on what I think Jacksonville is going to do. I just think Jacksonville is like in an interesting situation because Trevor Lawrence is the guy. ETN looks amazing. I feel like last year they had a couple of offensive line issues. They obviously have a good coach. So they have to figure it out. And then obviously the Tennessee Titans, they're the only team in the division that got a new coach. They're the only team that I feel like there's a little bit of old guard and new guard mixed together. And you just never know what the Titans are going to do. So you can't count them out. But I do know that the AFC South is going to be one of those interesting divisions to watch because based on what I think is going to happen this year, again, this is like what I think. I think the AFC South might be the team in the division in the AFC that doesn't have as good of teams as other divisions. So why I say that is because if you look at the AFC North, if you look at the AFC East, and if you look at the AFC West, I feel like those divisions have a higher probability of being better than the AFC South. That's not a knock on the AFC South. That's just kind of how I see it. I'm also trying this new thing with holding the mic, and I don't like holding the mic because I like to talk with my hands and I'm not able to talk with my hands. But anyways, it kind of is what it is. But again, if you're seeing this video and I'm not live, it is because I'm on vacation. I will put a video here if I think about it so that you can see the beautiful views that I'm seeing while I'm on vacation. I don't wish that I would have been able to go live, but I do wish that I could have talked to a couple of people live just to see their thoughts and just to see their opinions and to see what they were thinking. The one thing I will also finish with when it comes to the AFC South is when you look at their schedule, they have an interesting schedule and the way the games are structured are very interesting. And so I'm wondering if the schedule will impact any of their games and will impact some of the things that I've listed before. The other thing to keep an eye out, which this isn't going to come as any surprise to anybody because it's football, are injuries. And so I think injuries could have a big impact on the AFC South this year, but I do feel like the AFC South this year is kind of going to be like maybe the NFC South last year where one team gets in order to get in, you have to win your division. But again, I could be wrong. It's just my assessment on how I'm looking at teams and what I think is going to happen this year. But As always, thank you so much for joining me on this series. It has been super fun to do this. I will say that next week there's another thing coming. It is going to be the NFC because I am out of town. I do already have those videos ready to go and uploaded, and so I just want to say everything that you've seen this week has all obviously been pre-recorded, and everything that you see next week will also be pre-recorded because I will not have been in town. So kudos to me for having my crap together so well and being so committed and so dedicated that I got all of these videos knocked out. And so it looks like I never missed a beat, but in reality, I'm not home and all of this is pre-planned. So if something doesn't drop or something happens that's off schedule or whatever, I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize because I'm doing my best. In the descriptions, I always add who I'm talking to and I share out the information that they want me to share. So in some instances, you will find out that some of the people that I interviewed or some of the people that I had conversations with, because I don't like to call them interviews, some of the people that I had conversations with don't have a lot of data in the description. That is because they didn't want to have data in the description. And so this isn't the fact that I decided to like not put some people and put other people. Some people just didn't want to have their information there, and so their information isn't there. So if you're looking for anybody that I've talked to, if you're curious to know who they are and what other things, and you want to follow them and you want to subscribe to their channels, always click in the descriptions because I do have their information. So if you're interested, go find them, go look them up. They're all very lovely people. I'm sure that they would love a follow. They would love a subscribe. And so, yeah, just take the time to do that. And I just want to say, let them know that I sent you. Let them know that you saw them on my channel, talk about whatever you want to say. And then let them know that I sent you. Like, why not? Why not share the love? Because each of these people were gracious enough to give me their time. I hope in a few days you enjoy what the preview is going to be on Sunday for the next division. I can say it's going to be the NFC. Obviously, we've already had the NFC North, so it's not going to be them. So there's only 3 divisions left in the NFC, so you can kind of figure out who it's going to be. But again, thank you to all my special people that came and talked to me about the AFC South. I appreciate you, and let's keep this ball rolling. Let's talk more about more NFL teams. Let's talk about that next division. And I think this next division is going to be fun. These interviews are amazing. They are funny. They're informative, and I'm super excited to release the next slate of episodes starting next week.